Hello and welcome to the FatBoss Guide to Garothi Worldbreaker on Mythic in Antorus, the Burning Throne.
So this encounter plays very much like its heroic version, up until the first Apocalypse drive. The main change for this fight on Mythic is that when you destroy one of the weapons on the boss's back, it will now empower that ability rather than remove it from the fight. So you need to choose which ability that you want to deal with in an empowered state between the two Apocalypse drives, and then you have to deal with both empowered abilities for the last 35%.
Now before we jump into the empowered abilities, let's quickly cover the Apocalypse drive itself, which has had a few small tweaks. You still need to dodge all the lines on the ground whilst keeping the raid topped up against the ticking damage as you destroy your weapon of choice. The changes start once one of the weapons is destroyed. After a brief delay, the boss will cast Luring Destruction, which will deal some ticking damage whilst dragging in the entire raid over 3 seconds. You want to make sure you move towards the back of the room before the weapon is destroyed, whilst also using a single healing cooldown to top the raid, because immediately after this pull-in, the boss will cast Eradication, so you not only need the distance, but of course you need to make sure that everyone is healthy just to make sure you survive this fall-off damage. We recommend using a raid-wide movement speed increase just to help counter this pull-in, whilst also using some form of damage reduction cooldown to help the raid remain healthy. Some classes of course can just immune the hit from the Eradication and just keep standing there casting and dealing a ton of damage, however these immunities are probably best saved for when you want to soak Annihilation zones. Now when the boss finishes his Apocalypse drive phase, he will gain a stack of the Empowered buff which increases his damage by 20%, but he will no longer gain a stack of Searing Barrage which dealt the ticking damage to the group on Heroic. This is super helpful as the raid will be dropping super low when you're dealing with either of these empowered abilities.
So let's take a look at these empowered abilities. When you kill the Decimator, its decimation will now stun you if it targets you. The circle will then spawn which you need to move out of before it lands. As it lands, it will also place a nasty dot on the entire group. You can easily deal with this just by having people stack up to get the circles to spawn on top of one another. You can have one big group in melee if you like, or you can have a range group and a melee group, or you could even free-for-all it just by spreading all over the room. You just need to make sure that you stay in range of your healers so you can get top back up for when the Annihilation zones spawn. When you kill the Annihilator, it makes it so its Annihilation zones will now knock you back when they explode, but they will also detonate again 4 seconds later, meaning each zone needs to be soaked twice. With a full set of heroic gear or better, you are able to solo soak a hit as long as you are topped up beforehand. Some classes can of course return to their zone by countering the knockback with a movement spell, such as Blink or Transcendence, but if you are knocked away from a zone, there is no way that you're going to be able to walk back to it in time before it explodes again otherwise. So for the classes that don't have that option, they should always look to be knocked towards another zone so they can go and soak that one instead. This is pretty easy to do because you are always knocked away from the center of the zone, so simply line your character up so you can easily get knocked towards another zone just to help split the damage. If you have a few people at a zone, you may wish to have a person or two stay out of it so they can take the second incoming hit, guaranteeing that the zone will be soaked. You shouldn't necessarily need to assign who soaks what area of the room, instead you should just try and get the raid to spread as evenly as possible, just so all zones can be soaked quickly. And that's all it is for the empowered abilities, so the question is really which weapon do you kill first? And the answer is, well, the boss has been killed by killing either of the weapons. It's up to your raid. The Decimator is far easier to deal with than the Annihilator in terms of strategy, because simply all you need to do is move out of the circle. The dot does, however, drain your healers. So if you're very confident in your healers, do that one. However, if your healers are struggling, instead just kill the Annihilator instead and make sure you soak the circles. In terms of when you bloodlust for this boss, it's again kinda up to you. We'd recommend that you save it for the very last phase, so from the 35% point onwards, as you will be dealing with both empowered abilities at the exact same time. But apart from that, it's just deal with the abilities and nuke down the boss.
So that's all we got time for today, guys. If you do want a handy written guide for this fight with some pictures that you can refer to, of course, during your raids, then do go check out our written work over on Wowhead. The link for that can be found in the description below. But a big thanks for watching today, guys. If this video did help you out, then make sure you leave a like on it. It helps us out a lot. And of course, a big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for your continued support. And thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching.